If one's bowels move, one is happy, and if they don't move, one is unhappy. That is all there is to it. There is a certain proper and luxurious way of lying in bed. Confucius, that great artist of life, never lay straight in bed, like a corpse, but always curled up on one side. I believe one of the greatest pleasures of life is to curl up one's legs in bed. The posture of the arms is also very important, in order to reach the greatest degree of aesthetic pleasure and mental power. I believe the best posture is not lying flat on the bed, but being upholstered with big soft pillows at an angle of 30 degrees with either one arm or both arms placed behind the back of one's head. The situations depicted in the Book of Changes are the primary data of life, what happens to everybody, every day, and what is simple and easy to understand. I like spring, but it is too young. I like summer, but it is too proud. So I like best of all autumn, because its leaves are a little yellow, its tone mellower, its colors richer, and it is tinged a little with sorrow and a premonition of death. Its golden richness speaks not of the innocence of spring, nor of the power of summer, but of the mellowness and kindly wisdom of approaching age. It knows the limitations of life and is content. From a knowledge of those limitations and its richness of experience emerges a symphony of colors, richer than all, its green speaking of life and strength, its orange speaking of golden content, and its purple of resignation and death. Anyone who reads a book with a sense of obligation does not understand the art of reading. There are no books in this world that everybody must read, but only books that a person must read at a certain time in a given place under given circumstances and at a given period of his life. If one's bowels move, one is happy, and if they don't move, one is unhappy. That is all there is to it. Probably the difference between man and the monkeys is that the monkeys are merely bored, while man has boredom plus imagination. The moment a student gives up his right of personal judgment, he is in for accepting all the humbugs of life. When one's thoughts and experience have not reached a certain point for reading a masterpiece, the masterpiece will leave only a bad flavor on his palate. Love of one's fellowmen should not be a doctrine, an article of faith, a matter of intellectual conviction, or a thesis supported by arguments. The love of mankind which requires reasons is no true love. This love should be perfectly natural, as natural for man as for the birds to flap their wings. It should be a direct feeling, springing naturally from a healthy soul, living in touch with nature. Confucius said, "When young, beware of fighting; when strong, beware of sex; and when old, beware of possession," which simply means that a boy loves fighting, a young man loves women, and an old man loves money. With the predominance of economic problems and economic thinking, which is overshadowing all other forms of human thinking, we remain completely ignorant of, and indifferent to, a more humanized knowledge and a more humanized philosophy, a philosophy that deals with the problems of the individual life. A good cook was like a good educator. His duty was solely to bring out the talent of the chicken and show it to best advantage, as a good teacher brings out the talent inherent in a young man. Granted that the original talent was there in the chicken, too much coaxing, stuffing, imposing, and spicing would merely distract from its simple beauty and virtue. When after a perfect dinner I lounge in an armchair, when there is no one I hate to look at in the company and conversation rambles off at a light pace to an unknown destination, and I am spiritually and physically at peace with the world. Beside the noble art of getting things done, there is the noble art of leaving things undone.